I don't know this slang. I am old now.
Oh my god.
But
Beep, boop, bop, 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 beep.
to the Awkward Tea Party, the place where Max and I awkwardly fumble through everyday stuff in relation to work,
Life.
pop culture, life, anything. We essentially talk about whatever we want.
Because it's our
And-
show.
Yeah, the live stream version is a little bit more raw, and the YouTube version, what I've started doing is started adding more B-roll to it, so it's a little bit more entertaining than just
It's just our faces.
two very cute talking heads. So
And just you.
no, you. So if you don't know me, I'm Emeroy, and if you don't know them, that's Max.
Hello.
So that's all you need to know.
Hello.
So we have a handful of topics that I lost my window. So there's a handful. What do you want to go through? So there's Loki and Black Widow. There's Temper Tantrum versus. We're thinking there's also the upcoming. Man, my face is massive next to yours. I need to like shit. I'm like right
Stop sitting
here.
so close to your camera.
Because I'm like passionate about it. Like, but
meanwhile, I'm like over here like
so
small face, please.
We have Temper Tantrum's film coming out this Friday. Post traveling
Watch
thoughts
it.
after I visited you, when I visited you and after, and pre traveling thoughts
And like everything else that you did, every other piece of traveling you've done.
Burnham inside. Yeah, there's like a handful. Where do you want to start?
I don't know. Throw a dart.
Okay. I just literally throw a dart on my
Throw a dart.
on my screen. I
Yeah.
should have randomized it. Well, let's go. I guess we'll start off with Burnham inside. We did that. Hold on, just fly. I don't know how you got in here. Burnham
apple cider
inside.
vinegar.
Last night, our social media company, Vision Paradox, did some reactions to it. So if you guys didn't get to see that, make sure to check out the VOD here
VOD
on
on
Twitch. But also, if you don't know who Burnham is, he's a how would you describe him?
Comedian, actor, filmmaker, writer, poet. Actually, so many things. So many fucking things. He got to start on YouTube when he was like 15.
That's fair. Like his more recent stuff, just from what I've watched, is I would
His
consider
stand-ups, his specials.
Yeah, he does stand-up comedy, but it's like it's very musical, and it's genius.
It's very musical based. It's very like everything is a concept. It doesn't even have to be like musical, especially from his special. What? It's called What? It's on Netflix right now. It's like it's like the first big special that he does. So that he had like literally he would just, he goes from like funny to like serious and then back. Like he like takes you on a journey. Like there was one called I Fuck Sluts. And he talks about like, he starts like, he goes into this funny bit. It's like, he had his heart broken, so he's coping with it. He's using misogyny as a coping mechanism. And
I remember this one.
Yeah. And then it gets serious. Like maybe this slut knows science really to talk to. And I'm misquoting everything, but it just goes into that one and into regrets and then back up to levity. Like that's kind of like the Bo Burnham brand in a sense. Which is not just Bo Burnham, but that's a lot of like comedians at least that like belongs in our age group, because we always are just in some sort of existential dread. And
it's definitely something that I found like very interesting. And like in his comedy, he talks about like, in a sense, mental illness and the commentary,
mostly his own
and commentary. So I think that's such a like an interesting way of like ownership of it, but also like I think you told me that he was starting to have panic attacks, and he says that
he says it in a special, like he was starting to have panic
attacks.
So he quit performing live in January 2020. He says it all in his special. January of 2020, he decided, hey, I'm gonna do it. No.
Well, I think
Corona was like, no.
Yeah, I absolutely love what he was able to create throughout that whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, he's like illustrating the mental like hardships. I'm pretty sure it's true, but also like I almost feel like some parts of it are he's I don't know if I could be wrong, exaggerating it for.
Oh yeah, he definitely is. He's clearly like he's taking everything that's like super real to him and he's like blowing it up into a proportion that serves entertainment very well. But it's still very true. It's like again, he most likely did not live in that like studio apartment.
Yeah. So for
That's
those of
behind
you
his
who
house.
haven't watched
yeah.
it, he's like essentially in a shed kind of situation the whole time.
Or just watch it on Netflix. What the fuck what
Yeah.
are we doing here?
Yeah, I
Or you
mean,
can
what-
watch it, or you can find a bootleg somewhere. But
Or
Yeah.
or get your ass in theaters July 22nd.
Oh yeah,
they're
it's gonna
releasing
be
it for one night only.
well. Probably it's probably gonna be out.
Select theaters.
Like this episode of Awkward Tea Party is gonna be done and out.
Well, anyone on the streamer, the one person
Anyone who's
on stream,
watching the
hello.
Is it one? Mine's showing 5.
I don't know. It didn't refresh quick enough.
Hi, 5. But
Oh my
anyways,
God.
I mean, here's
yeah.
one of the things I loved. Oh no, yeah, now it's 1. It's refreshed out of nowhere now. But anyways, one of the things that I really, 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 really loved about it is like what he created, like the everything. He's essentially the one-man show. What he was able to do.
I mean, he
the
always has
lighting.
been a one-man show. Like even with his specials, like he conceptualizes all of it, but like
But does he have a
the
lighting? crew
difference
with
is he had a whole crew doing it. He's not
Yeah.
like sitting on there on stage pushing buttons to get all that going. So it's his timing and their timing combined.
Yeah, that's one thing I love because like especially just from my own experience of trying to produce things for myself, it's not as at the level of Bo Burnham, but it's like for my own YouTube videos or even more produced type of videos when I used to put more effort into my videos. Because now reaction videos.
Well, back then you had a studio.
Yeah. No, yeah, but even then I had a studio, but I was just using my friend's equipment. He was like, "All right, here you go," and I'm like, there would be so many
Batch
moments where I didn't hit record, and I was on a roll, and I didn't hit record. It was like, oh yeah, and just the anxiety, and then now I can imagine the anxiety of like making sure the lighting is on cue when it needs to be.
Because
Like
he has to control it himself.
Yeah, it's just
Like on camera too.
the level of like precision and planning it is just like. Man.
I mean, not all of the segments were like filmed like that. You know, some of them were just straight up music videos. Like one's Instagram or one's Instagram just sticks with me. FaceTiming with my mom.
Yeah, it's a lot of it's like just really clever framing. Really clever framing.
A lot of framing and like a clever use of the digital zoom, like post-production zoom.
And
because obviously he's not sitting there like
slowly pushing it in.
Yeah, because you can tell because like nothing changes. Like if you like zoom like with a lens, like you can tell like the distance between this and this is gonna change. But like if you push in digitally, it's gonna stay the same.
Yeah.
So like
that and clever use of angles and lighting definitely helps out a lot. It just it shows like, well, albeit has experience on set and directing, so just
8th grade, watch it. It's really good.
I really need to watch that.
8th grade is really good.
Like that
Elsie Fisher, the lead, she's freaking brilliant. She's also like super nice. So, I mean, from what I saw when she was a guest on 10-Minute Power Hour at Game Grumps, she's pretty dope.
So yeah, because I heard that it captured the real essence of what it is to 8th grade. That whole like kind of awkward experience of middle school.
Like you're in middle school, you're almost in high school, and you're like, what the fuck am I doing with my life already?
I feel like
I didn't go to middle school, so like technically my 8th grade was 6th grade.
Yeah, my middle school years were some of my worst years of my life. I'd say like in terms of the growing up phase of my life, I would say like because I almost felt like every day of 7th grade I was going through some existential dread of like, what am I doing here? No one wants me. No one cares for me. I was the whole year.
Typical teenager shit.
I know, typical teenage angst. I had no friends the entire. I had friends, but I didn't accept them as my friends. But I
people you hung out with.
Yeah, like I didn't really hang out with them. Like even like because.
So how were they your friends?
Like we connected and we tried to hanging out like occasionally in I'd say recess. I think that's called, or nutrition, whatever.
Nutrition or recess or whatever. Yeah.
But like even then, I because I was in my own head of like no one, it's me against the world. Yeah. I isolated myself, and for the entire year of 7th grade, I would be sitting on a stairwell by myself, just like by myself, and all just angry and whatnot. And
age-wise, like it's on par with what I went through my early high school years because didn't go through I didn't do 7th and 8th grade. So age-wise, it kind of works out. Like, 'cause it was the same way kind of in high school as like a 13-year-old, I think. There were like times where, you know, I would be surrounded by like all these people, like all these, you know, like, because I went to an all-girls school too. So I was surrounded by like all these people, all these girls or whatever, because back then I was a girl. I guess I thought I was. And like, it was, you know, it was like, it was a little kind of, it was like, it was weird because like I felt weird being around these people. I was having fun. I was just I was like having conversations with these people, and all of a sudden there were days where I just isolated myself, and then I gaslit myself into thinking they hate me.
Yeah,
but I'm the one that was like
myself.
avoiding them all like the fucking plague. Like I would like get my order from I would get my food from the cafeteria, walk past my usual group, sit down by myself and eat angrily, and like in my head I'm like, these fucking bitches.
They don't get me.
They'll fucking get me.
They're not my friends.
They're not my real friends.
Yeah, I think that was what made it hard too. Like was,
but like it was me. Like I was being stupid.
That's the thing. Like with from 6th grade, a lot of my friends went through summer school, so they stayed with the connection. I was just like chilling, whatever. I didn't want to go to summer school. I was like, fuck that.
Oh, I didn't hang out with any one of them. Like after, like not after school, but like after the school year.
When I got into 7th grade, I thought like all these friends, I felt left out because what's going on, Laura? When I saw my elementary school friends with all these other friends, I felt left out. I felt like I had nobody, and I was like, yeah, and it was a rough part of growing up, and that's part of like one of the things I'm like, I stress out as a parent. Not stress out, but it's like I worry about because for Jordan, because like, you know, he's kind of like, he likes to keep it to himself as well.
I mean, yeah, you told me like when he was doing Zoom school, it's just like, no.
Yeah, and then
there's too many people in this room.
Yeah, and then he was vocal about his challenges of like.
At least he was vocal about it. I would have been like.
Towards me and Steph, like he was like, I don't like Zoom school. It's like there's too many people. He likes the personal attention, and we've seen it like when he has to go through speech therapy. He thrives because he's getting that one-on-one attention. I guess it goes to his love languages of like words of affirmation and getting acknowledged for the good work he's doing. So
and acknowledge a kid within a Zoom meeting
or within like with like 30 kids in the class.
It's the worst. I mean, I hate Zoom meetings, period. But
and that's one thing too. He's going to be starting at a new school, at a new state, and I'm like,
But the thing is, he has friends, and he likes hanging out with them at school because he just gets to hang out with his circle.
Yeah,
he doesn't have to fight for attention.
Yeah,
and he can't even like shoot the shit with his friends through in the Zoom meetings because then it's Jordan, pay attention.
Oh yeah, well when they do breakout rooms, I hear them goofing off all the time. So which is good, but that's the thing too. Like he there's like a couple kids he got really close to, and I know, but he's not gonna have them when he goes there, and that's just like, okay, oh god, like I
personally know that feeling.
Yeah, I'm like, it hurts because I can relate in that sense.
I got ripped from a country to another.
Oh, that's fair. Yeah,
my junior high school.
Yeah, when you got here, like your first day, what was that like?
It was whatever. It was really whatever. There wasn't really much of a culture shock, just because, you know, at the time the Philippines wasn't very national, like didn't have like a very nationalistic sense of pride. That's like, I mean, now it's nationalistic, but also like kind of fucking toxic. You need to fucking chill, like, you know, like this country. You can't escape it, but like
manifest destiny, bro.
Yeah, culture shock.
Okay, so there wasn't like, you know, that much of a culture shock, just because I mean the only thing that was different was like fuck you. I went from like an all-girls Catholic school from like for so many years. I mean, I've been to like co-ed schools before, but I have been to Catholic schools where there was like uniform all day and everything was already structured for you, to an American public school where you have to choose your own classes at the start of the year, and I didn't know that. So, you know, I was just like picking classes. I was like, it was like one of those, oh, but I want these classes, and the school will do the rest. And they're like, you didn't pick. It's like you need a history credit. I was like, oh.
Oh God.
I needed to take U.S. history to graduate, but like that wasn't a senior class. Like they took that like sophomore year, junior year, or whatever. At least at Burbank, and I was just like, oh, so what do I do then? I still need my econ credit and government credit as a senior, and they're like, oh, well, you're gonna have to do night school. Like, all right, I guess cool.
Damn.
So I did for first half of the school year, I did the U.S. history night school as a self-study thing because
there was no room in the actual class, like the actual like instructed class.
Exactly,
whitewashed colonizer history.
For real. So the first half of that was like, kind of like colonial times and all that, and then the second half of that was, a little more recent, like World War II and everything. They glazed on the atrocities that they did in the Philippines. Glazed.
Which part? Like
it was like the World War II era and like and everything that they did. They're like, oh, but we freed the Philippines. I'm like, yes, only to try to colonize us. Which is, you were like figured, oh, our turn. I'm like, fuck you. They're like, Spain's gone, Japan's gone,
and now it's
our turn. And we're like,
fuck you.
I remember I didn't know anything about that until like college, or like my gen ed shit. Like we had to take the history. Like I forgot like the people's something of the United States, like the real history, and they shared all the real shit. I'm like, fuck, dude. So,
I mean, my brother he had to take a history class in college. When he went to college, like in California with me, and he took a U.S. history class. His professor, I believe, was Filipino, and I think something in his textbook said something about, also glazed over something. He went off, and he's like, "So what's not in your textbook is fucking this." I was like,
"Damn." Woo! Yeah, it's one of those things. Filipinos are brown as hell. If those of you guys watching on the YouTube, I'm reading the chat. So we're brown as hell. And then colonizers.
We were also black. Like black, curly hair and everything, but also we looked like Malaysians and everything, just because of where people are from and whoever was assimilating with us before pre-Spain.
Yeah, there was a lot of mainlanders coming into the islands.
Yeah, and then it wasn't colonization. We were trading, and then some of them fucked, I guess. Some of them fucked and made babies, so whatever. But like, that wasn't colonization. That was just assimilation. There was a difference. And then Spain came along with their fucking Christianity and diseases. It wasn't even Spain. Well, it was Spain. It was like, a faction from Spain being led by a Portuguese man. Ferdinand Magellan was from Portugal. And, Portugal and Spain at the time were the two superpowers. And they were competing to see how many countries they can colonize.
Jesus Christ.
Explore. I'm sorry. And so Ferdinand Magellan, who's Portuguese, went to his monarch and they were like, no, we're not going to give you money. So he went to Queen Isabel in Spain. And she was like, okay, circumnavigate the globe then, you go. And then landed in the Philippines, 1521, and the rest was history.
It's an interesting thing because because I was watching a clip from Limitless recently, not recently, like a month or so ago, and then because
part of this conversation came from Bo Burnham.
I know, I haven't, but because humans have the tendency to overreach, because there's ambition, but where does it draw the line to being greedy? You know what I mean? Like these superpowers back then are now like they're no longer superpowers because their ambition to whatever, manifest destiny, whatever, became greedy, that they would start taking over. I guess they're spread their resources too thin. So it makes me wonder, like, what superpowers would still be here if they decided to be like, we're good right now, let's focus on building this instead of expanding. It very much reminds me, I think of like how businesses are, where there's a lot of common pressure for businesses to build fast, grow fast, hire fast, fire fast, whatever, get funding fast, but they end up spreading themselves too thin.
Yeah.
So I'm just curious.
Oh, and there was it's like a little more side note of that, like the whole Christianity thing. So Catholicism, and specifically Roman Catholicism. So there was a tweet that came from the Pope's Twitter account. I don't know how real it was, but it's like, congratulations Philippines on your blah 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 anniversary of Catholicism landing on your, landing on your shores. Like you were blessed by the blah 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 of Christianity. And then somebody responded to it with an image of Lapu-Lapu, like the first considered like national, like not like first hero in the Philippines, like essentially fucking stabbing a Spanish soldier with a spear. Or was it a spear or like a fucking machete or whatever? But I'm like, yep, that's how we feel.
It's interesting. Because with social media, because often history is written by the victors.
Obviously.
But now with social media, the victors are easily being
social
called
media.
Out.
People know how to read.
Yeah, people know how to read.
Literacy is a thing.
So.
And with the internet, like you can research whatever the fuck you want. You have access to like journals. Like you have access to like scholarly journals.
I mean, going back to Bo Burnham, it shows because you just reminded me of like the song "Welcome to the Internet." And I was like, we literally have the power of the internet in our hands through the phone.
Welcome to the internet.
But also, people don't use. That's the thing too. Like when they do their research, it's like
they don't know how to pick their sources. Well, they do know how to pick their sources. The ones that are telling them what they want to hear.
Yeah, it's like they're biased. Just they're looking for the answers that they want that's aligned with their beliefs. That therefore
anti-vaxxers doing their own research.
Yeah. Oh god. And then
research.
And then proceed to sell you essential oils that have no.
Listen, I love a good peppermint oil, but I know it's not going to cure cancer. Okay?
Yes, and then proceed to tell you
cure everything.
Yeah, they sell you these oils that have no scientific research, just wild claims.
And then I forgot which Facebook group it was, or I don't know. There was this whole thread of like Karen's Gone Wild or whatever. It's like, there was a group of like anti-vax moms, like a Facebook group of anti-vax moms, and they like ask questions and whatever. Like it's like some people are like what does this oil do or blah 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 blah. Very new here, new to this whole thing. Opened my eyes recently. And what was it? There was one question that was like, help, my child is experiencing COVID symptoms. What oils? Like, wow. This can't be fucking serious. But the thing is, I hope this is a satire group, because like a lot of people do that. It's like, it's a group where people pretend they're 1863 or whatever the fuck. But like, I really hope this is just a satire group. But if it's not, that kid's dead. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Like if you did not rush that kid to a hospital, even if you did, because that was like March 2020, there were no hospital beds. There was not a hospital bed for that child, even if they were able to, they'd be like, you know what, last resort, let's go to the hospital. Your kid's dead. I'm sorry. No.
Yeah. I mean,
my kid has COVID symptoms.
I mean, I get where they're coming from. I like why they would try to like the whole big pharma, especially in the States. Like they're trying to like they're for example, which one was it? The EpiPen or people like just these crony capitalists.
I mean, yes,
trying to like do that to you. Like
they are like nickel and diming you.
Us, yeah.
EpiPen, a thing that would save my life if you ever tried to feed me shrimp. So like if somebody tried to force feed me shrimp at some point, or like snuck a shrimp in my, in my dish, like it's something that's like life-saving is like so fucking expensive. Insulin is, diabetes patients are essentially killing themselves, or no, they're being killed by the pharmaceutical industry because it's so expensive. They have to like take half dose or like a smaller dose of their insulin.
Yeah.
Or something. Way.
I mean, that's why it makes sense why people try to look for alternative medicine. And albeit like there's a place, Canada. But it's like, it sucks that people are having to resort. I almost feel like if we, I can't believe we're going into this topic. If we had a proper like
Or Tea Party.
healthcare
That's what we do.
healthcare system,
Spiral.
people would not, maybe just theoretically, probably would less likely look for these alternates if they were actually taken care of.
Yeah, and there's also the people that they're reasoning as well. Our ancestors didn't need medicine. I'm like, yeah, they died.
They died at like 50 or 30.
Back then, like the whole promise of till death do us part was till death till your first cold.
So modern medicine's a long way.
Oh, my favorite was how come there was a vaccine so fast? I'm like,
that's what happens when money
modern
goes to it.
medicine.
And when money
and then, like some vaccines took a while to produce was because of like bureaucracy, whatever. Like because they said something. They were just like, they were essentially executing different parts of the research and the development of the vaccines simultaneously because they have the technology to do so.
Yeah.
But that's kind of like what wasn't protocol before because it was like bureaucracy. You have to do this first and then you do this first and this first, and had nothing to do with science. It had everything to do with bureaucracy, and they're skipping that, and they're able to because of the technology that we've had for a while now.
We have the technology.
We have the technology.
We have the technology.
Yeah. No one ever questions how fast we come out with new tech and then a new vaccine, and they're like, wait. It's like, yeah. You get a new fucking iPhone. Like,
every year.
It's like, yeah, sure, new iPhone.
Yeah. So Che made it's from chat. It's 4 a.m. in your country. Go to sleep.
Get a coffee.
It's nighttime here. That's all.
Or get a coffee.
Yeah, Lauren from chat, also a member of Temper Tantrum, brought up a good point. Yeah, like no one questions how, like, or you like, I'm pretty sure people complain about it, like why these companies are always producing new phones. It's obviously,
okay, I mean, I guess we're putting it in our body, but
there's also
your information on there,
and also the insane amount of like chemical reactions that they're trying to like take advantage of from the small technology. I mean, albeit we run a social media company, it's part of our job, but it's also like we're also aware of like what this technology comes at a cost. This smartphones when they first came out, they really came out
2007. First iPhone was 2007.
It's not even 20 years old yet. This technology is new, and how the amount of impact it's had, and the amount of research that we're so behind on, and how it affects the attention span, our own psyche, mental health. I mean, 2008 and whatnot, 2010, it's like, oh, this is a great, cool thing. Everyone,
it was like, oh, there's an app for everything.
Yeah, there's an. That was the thing. Like, oh, I have.
That was the iPhone commercial. There's an app for that.
And now we're seeing how terrible it is. There's a whole like connected but disconnected. Yeah, it's crazy.
Everything that was every single piece of lyric that was on Welcome to the Internet.
Yeah.
Could have interested you in everything all of the time. A little bit of everything all of the time.
Yeah.
Apathy's a tragedy and boredom is a crime.
So and what the great thing about that song is like it shows like the beauty of what can be, but also like the
what it
evil. I think it
still can be.
There's still a lot of potential here.
I think it still is because like some people. One of my favorite Let's Players, his name is Insum. He doesn't like typically like going out. When he started streaming and he started getting his following, he felt like that's where he finally found his community.
Mm-hmm.
So like that's the upside, or like people who would want back then go to forums. I don't know, talk about trading cards. They found their community where they couldn't if they were in a super like small town.
Yeah,
like that's like the good part. Now like the dark part is the addiction to it of just getting the notifications or anything like that, or
the likes,
the vanity metrics.
Mm-hmm.
So I think. Was it Bill Burnham that said that? He shared his concern about giving kids.
Yeah, it was the bit before sexting when he was like on the floor.
Like giving kids, and didn't he make a joke about them eventually developing like dissociative?
That was during turning 30.
Yeah, so it's
30.
It's an interesting thing because I see like obviously the beauty of it, but also like it's almost like giving control of a lot of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Without really thinking about what's going to be the long-term setback. I don't know if that makes sense. Yeah.
I mean, the internet proved itself to be this, like, kind of like super useful tool and like essentially an essential during like the pandemic, especially during lockdown, because like people needed to connect with each other somehow. Like you and I have been doing this like before before COVID. Like we were coping. Some people weren't, and like like with a like it not just like the relationship part, but like just working from home, like doing everything online over the internet. Like a lot of people were like freaking out, like, how do I do this? How do I do that? How do you do this? I'm just like, I don't know. I just hate people. So this is where I thrive.
Kind of.
I just hate being around people physically, like for longer periods of time. I was like, so this is where I thrive, in my room.
I mean, I like working at home because no one knocks in my fucking office to try to bother me for stupid questions.
Hi, do you want a lunch?
Yeah.
God, I have a quick question. Can we take like a sidebar? Okay.
Yeah, and then you're trying to hit
deadline. And then you go, can you put a pin on that? Oh God, no.
And then yeah, like
what song was it? Like since we're still on the topic of inside, FaceTiming with my mom, which first of all was I love that sound. It sounded like Craig David. It did. And then like what I liked about it though was the fact that like he like smushed the aspect ratio to a 9:16.
Yeah.
Which is your phone, because like when you're FaceTiming, really, if you're like video chatting using your phone, FaceTiming, because that's what's common, you basic ass bitches. It's like this is all you see. Like what's here is all you see. So like there could be a fucking mess behind me, which there is, but there could be like a fucking mess behind me. There could be like rats like climbing down like my cabinets or whatever. You won't see it because all you see is face. There might be a filter or like Zoom background.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite examples of like really cleverly shot in terms of like the proper angles, obviously cropping things in post to make it really fit the story. And this is like,
and using like the actual phone light as an actual light.
Oh yeah,
for filming
as a
like besides that blue filtered light like in the kitchen, like at the beginning, like where he's lip syncing, but like where he's showing like like the like he's talking to his mom, like it's just the phone.
Yeah, my favorite is that brand awareness, like the one where it's like a marketing campaign.
Oh my God, a marketing campaign.
So are you willing to use your brand awareness to affect positive social change?
And it's like he set it up, like he set that thing up brilliantly. Like every shot was like, the shot was brilliant. Like the shot, like the behind the scenes thing where he's just like sitting down, like putting his thing on, and the fucking weird ponytail. And the way he talks is the is
the intentional like
the intentional stutter just to make you seem more thoughtful.
And then
that man is like nonverbal communication.
It was clever because it's
exactly. Because it's clever.
I love that he was making fun of like every brand that's trying to be woke right now. Yeah. And I think it's okay for brands to take a stand and be something,
and actually
but
stand by it though.
But you have to follow through. You can't just say like boom and then
you can't just make your logo be rainbow for the month of June.
For a month, and then all of a sudden you're different the following month, or you're not, or you're saying it, you're trying to provide a better service for everyone, but you're also treating your employees like shit. It's like it has to be aligned at multiple levels. You can't just be like a front. But that's what I love. Like he was making fun of like, are you gonna be in the right side of history, or are you gonna get up, roll your sleeves, and sell?
The question is, will you buy Wheat Thins? Now the question is, will you support Wheat Thins in the fight against? I don't even remember.
Yeah, it's a clever angle because some people
just say JP Morgan is against racism in theory.
Like it's a clever angle because it's tugging at people's heartstrings, so to speak, especially those who are affected by XYZ cause. They can leverage that because this brand gets me because I've experienced this, so I'm going to start working with them.
Rainbow suit.
Like it's like really targeted messaging depending on the demographic.
Yeah.
So it's like it's.
Listen, if like fucking JP Morgan goes, "Yes, Queen, save money," I'm like, nope, changing banks. No. Changing banks. Goodbye.
Yeah. So I just loved the parody of it. So if you guys haven't watched it and you're on, those of you guys watching on Twitch right now, really go watch it. I think it's probably like one of the best pieces of art I've seen. It's comedy. He's still performing. It's art. So it's really good. Brilliant lighting. Concepts are like amazing, and it's also like very honest.
But it's honest, but it's like it's obviously not his real life. It's based on parts of his real life.
It's like a exaggerated version.
It's an exaggerated version of his life.
An exaggerated character.
Like, you know, like it's true that he's going through like mental health struggles and all that. But again, he's not really living in this like shed. You know, he has a house with a partner who's also equally successful.
With White Woman's Instagram, it also kind of like does the same thing as FaceTiming with my mom. Like with
the aspect ratio.
The aspect ratio, but like it widens for like a hot second when he gets
honest,
serious and honest about like, you know, the post about the mom.
Yeah.
About like the dead mom and like, you know, shows like there's a mess here, there's a mess here. Like this middle part where you can put a square, where you can cut it into a square is, you know, a very pretty picture, very well set up and, you know, like a cute little pose.
Yeah.
But like in reality, like this motherfucker's falling apart.
Yeah, it was a clever like touch on that. Like people, like I almost feel like the way I think you're probably interpreted already. Like picture, and then in reality, when you take that away, behind the Instagram post, here's the reality of the situation behind this post.
It's,
you know, like
a reality for most of my pictures, like of my face.
Yeah,
like there could be a mess like right here outside of that square. There's like a tower of clothes that I haven't washed, a tower of boxes I haven't recycled yet. But I push them aside, take the picture, and then I'm back to being like, fuck.
Yeah, like his little like I guess a musical commentary of like people only trying to push like the highlights of their life. I think that's the thing.
Which is essentially what social media is.
Like
ish.
I mean, I almost feel like early social media, it was literally people just fucking talking about whatever they just oversharing. And I love that part too. Like,
love Tumblr.
Like where people just like need to shut the fuck up about because they don't need to share every opinion.
You also said that.
Yeah. So, and then that's one of the reasons I'm actually really liking Twitter, even though like there's a lot of like toxic, stupid bullshit that happens there, and it's like, super wild.
Part of Twitter are you in?
But I like it because it really does feel like the last actual social media platform.
True.
Albeit like both Facebook and Twitter are really political, but because you know I feel like most of the stuff I've been seeing
at this point they feel like they have to step in.
Yeah, like I feel like. Facebook, half the time I'm seeing like just a bunch of memes. My friends are just resharing from pages, and Twitter, like I can literally search a topic and hop into the conversation, and that's what I did. Like when one of the reasons I restarted my Twitter is because I have so I can get into the conversation about my reaction stuff, and I was also trying to make sure that the
K-pop fan base is very active on Twitter.
So I was like, I got into the conversation, and I was like, and then that's how I started talking to more people, and then I hardly ever experienced that on Instagram because it's like, if anything, I get a DM, it's like a fucking paragraph, and here's why you should watch and watch these videos and react to it. I'm like, I ignore it, and then
I would just reply with your Patreon link.
Yeah, that's what I've been doing, and then that's why I'm kind of glad Instagram has been on the decline since 2019.
Yeah.
So, and I honestly do enjoy TikTok more because I feel like I've learned more shit on TikTok. Like,
I mean, some of those hacks are also kind of bullshit, but like you gotta weed through them.
Like some of the ones that actually work, I'm like, oh, I learned this in a minute. It gives you like that quick rush of like a win.
There's so many things that like you can still learn like from the internet and like not just by research, but like you just find it.
As from like a content creator's perspective, I do like that. Even though there is an algorithm, it's not as crazy.
Oh, did you hear about
the issue with the algorithm though?
No, is there a new?
Apparently, it's like flagging or like demonetizing or whatever. Like,
are you talking about YouTube or TikTok?
No, TikTok. It's like demonetizing or like flagging content that even utters the word black or black person.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So like, not only are like black dance creators being shafted by other creators on TikTok,
TikTok itself
like
is
black creators are being shafted by TikTok, and TikTok was like, we fixed this very significant mistake. It's like significant, blatant
yeah.
fuck up is what it is.
That's oof. I mean, I can't really comment on. I don't know much about that to really comment
Yeah.
on it.
And they were
But-
like, for the record, Black Lives Matter is like, you know, is like obviously like allowed or whatever. It's like not that wasn't the point. Literally, someone was just talking about how they were black.
Yeah.
Like, but white supremacy is okay.
Oh yeah. Oh god, I see the stupid shit on there too, man. But I don't follow it. But yeah, like and one of
I
the
mean, they
things-
sometimes end up on your For You page, and then you can't help it. Like, what the fuck is happening? Because
and then
they know to use the right tags.
I go and then I go into it, like I read the comments just to be like, what other people say about it, because I just want to see like how the conversation is about it, because it kind of you kind of get the feel of how people are responding.
When
to
I
it.
had the app, like I was always on like queer TikTok anyway, so like all the stuff I was seeing was all just fucking gay as hell, and I love it. So it was my safe space. Queer TikTok.
The thing with Instagram, this has become like a vision paradox, like speculation of all these social apps. The thing with Instagram is that they're not really promoting creators, like original creators. They're promoting a lot of group, like or meme pages, themed pages. Like half my feed is just fucking memes. Hardly stuff from any of my friends. And they, if anything, they push more of that versus like the individuals.
And the thing is, the memes that get posted on those meme pages aren't even like, not, I wouldn't say no meme is original essentially.
Yeah.
But like I've seen it somewhere else already.
Yeah, and
like I've seen this meme on Reddit first. Like I've seen it on Reddit or Twitter first. First, and then like Reddit, and then Facebook, Instagram.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the thing too. Like I forgot which video I watched it, but the Instagram was trying to be more intentional in brand partnerships and being more transparent about that. But the thing is, it's hitting the creators even worse, because like before when it was like before they added this feature, like it would be like an organic post, you would get more the reach you need, and get the click-through rates, whatever the impressions, that whatever they're tracking. And then, but now, because now it has to be a sponsored, like you have to disclose that it's an
sponsored post, or like, you know, in partner. You'll see it at the top too for some of those posts, like in partnership with Olay USA.
Yeah, because what that does, and especially what some of the people do, is like it's decreased their reach or impressions. And with that, and you know, Instagram's algorithm, if you don't get a certain amount of reach, it's not going to push it out to everyone. Therefore, it's not a quality post, and therefore it's going to affect your brand sponsorships. And then if you do that with your next post, Instagram's algorithm will be like, oh, your last branded post didn't do so well, so we're not going to.
So we're just not even going to bother.
So it's like it's
it's a vicious cycle.
So it's really messing it up. So Natalie, I'm just gonna say Natalie. Check Instagram is all about memes, but there's also a lot of illustrators. Yeah, that's true. Because I also
it depends on who you follow. Yeah,
a lot of illustrators. But yeah, I think
it depends on who you follow and whose posts you interact with the most.
Yeah,
like, you know, it's still that. It's still very that.
According to the algorithm.
Yeah, that part of the algorithm is still there, in a sense, but they're still gonna push whatever they want on you.
Yeah, and not only that, because I think. All right, what's going on, everyone? Emeroy here, just adding a little bit of an insert here to the podcast, talking about the algorithm. Someone in the chat just said they get more illustrators. You know, we talked about people seeing more of what they like on Instagram, which is, you know, perfect, exactly what the algorithm is meant to do. The difference between the TikTok and Instagram algorithm is while Instagram is pushing you more of what you like based off the creators you follow, the difference with TikTok, it not only shows you the content that you like based off who you follow, it also suggests new people, new artists, new whoever you follow according to what you like, because that's how their algorithm kind of works. That's why they have a For You page, because they show you like, oh, you like this, you might also like these creators depending on what you're consuming. So that's one of the reasons I just wanted to kind of insert this to give a little bit more distinction on the algorithm. Instagram pushes more of what you like based off what you follow, and TikTok does give you what you like, but also suggests people that you might like Because in a sense you have no choice on the For You page. You just scroll, it's just the next thing, and it might be someone you're following, or it might be something new that you've never seen. It gives creators on the platform an opportunity to be discovered by someone new, and same thing with the audience. It gives them an opportunity to discover someone new as well, whether it's through music, through dance, through these tutorials, whatever it is. It gives an equal opportunity for people to discover something new or to be discovered by someone new. Whereas with Instagram, the only way to do that is the explore page. But the thing is, there's so many things in that area that's cluttered. You're essentially fighting for attention at that point, because there's a lot of things happening all at once in the explore page. Whereas with the For You page, it's just one thing at a time. You're not trying to fight for that attention. Albeit someone has the choice to swipe up if they don't want to watch it, but compared to the explore page, there's a whole bunch of things happening all at once. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this little bit of insert and a little bit more of the expansion of what we're talking about for this podcast. Let's head back in. I don't know if TikTok's still doing it, but they have the creator fund. So if you have a certain amount of followers and a certain amount of views in a month, you're going to get paid.
Huh.
So
I think they still do.
They're giving you incentive to create for their platform. Very much like I think the smartest thing that YouTube's done, like in terms of social media, is they pay for the creators. So now they like, oh, I want to create YouTube, now I can get that AdSense money. And then now YouTube, like, oh, I can get the TikTok creator fund money. Facebook's trying to do it because essentially, like, but the thing is, I don't know how active people are on Facebook Watch, because you can essentially get monetized there as well.
Yeah.
Instagram doesn't do it, so there's no real incentive to continue
Instagram
creating
TV.
for it. And even with Reels, the whatever feature it is coming from TikTok is
People are literally using Reels just to promote their TikTok.
Yeah. So it's not so much more features. It's like, why? Because essentially, like, why should I use this when I can just do TikTok and then
I mean, we kind of said the same thing about like Snapchat and like Instagram stories.
yeah, because
But here's the thing: Snapchat is back. Ish.
Oh,
Gen Z has been all over Snapchat. Like because they think fucking Instagram is chuggy, because it is.
It's what?
It's chuggy.
Chuggy?
Oh my god.
What's that? What's that? I don't know this slang. I am old now.
Oh my god.
But yeah,
We're only 3 years apart.
I think Snapchat has always been there for tweens, high schoolers, and up. Because the Gen Z, like, people stopped using Snapchat the minute people stopped migrating to Snapchat because Instagram stole its features. So Natalie says Facebook has game streaming platform, but it's also weird. Yeah, it's
I only watch one creator on there, Bob. My screen.
So I think it's a smart move with Facebook to try to keep up in the gaming space. The thing is, I know it's probably not going to do well in the American market.
No.
I
Philippine
do
market
see
it does.
It's dominating in the Philippine market. I've seen it in different countries. It is doing really well because
in the Philippines, it is like it's a lot easier for them because they already have a Facebook account.
Yeah, and when I visited,
it's already there.
When
they
I
don't have to set
visited
anything else up.
When I visited the Philippines in 2018, Facebook was still the main thing, and Instagram at this point has been out for a while.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like Facebook it has a major global reach. I feel like it's a typical thing here in the States. Like whatever we create, we end up forgetting, and the rest of the world just adapts to it. AKA breaking or hip hop or what. Like, breaking is still a huge thing in the rest of the world. Like, it's not as big here.
At least in the industry.
At least in terms of the industry or the mainstream zeitgeist of attention. So same thing here. I think Facebook eventually is going to phase out to be for the much older demo, like friggin' probably us millennials and up, and shit. It's possible that
we're getting
millennials
lumped in there.
millennials will probably phase out because we're the ones that learned how to adapt to technology as it came when we were growing up. But yeah, anyways, going back to
there's some of us that stuck with the ones that we had adapted to. So
yeah,
it's just there's only so few of us that try to actually try to adapt other platforms, like newer platforms. I'm like, you have to, like, you're a content creator, like, so obviously adapt to TikTok. So me, I just lurk, so I'm just like, whatever.
Natalie from Argentina says Facebook's almost it's I guess it's different depending on the reach. The thing is, I think Facebook it's had its run. I think it's going to eventually go away. it's slowly dying out. But I think
Yeah.
unless something drastic changes,
I know
like,
just
or they
from
they buy the next thing, because I know
Mhm.
Facebook was trying to also buy TikTok or Musically, because the Zuckerberg is smart. He's trying to, he sees where the tension is of evolution of human communication, and it just doesn't make sense to want to buy it, to keep it into the ecosystem and whatnot.
Yeah, but you know who's smarter?
Who?
Jeffrey.
Oh God.
No, I'm
He
kidding.
was-
I hate them all.
I mean,
I hate them all.
He was
hate them all.
He was smart with e-commerce.
Well,
I
here's the
mean,
thing. There's, you can't knock him for creating something that we all use.
revolution. Yeah,
You can knock him for being
remember
piece of
when-
shit about his
re-
money.
Remember when Amazon was just for books?
Books.
Yeah,
Younger people are like, what?
I remember that. It used to just be for books.
What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, like just coming from like a standpoint of somebody who has family and friends in the Philippines, like specifically the Philippines.
I think the market for like Facebook
Facebook is so strong. But so is Twitter. Actually, the Philippines just love social media. Period.
Yeah, that's true.
The Philippines just
Hold on.
love
I
social media.
just
They will
connected
use.
my headset.
anyway.
So I'm just gonna keep talking, and they will use
Can you
literally
hear me?
every single every single piece of social media like technology until it's gone. Like I'm pretty sure before Friendster died, people were still using Friendster for a long time. There was this other site called Multiply, which was very popular in the Philippines, and like they constantly used that too. It's like a blogging thing.
Zanga.
It's kind of like it's kind of like Zanga. They also use that, but like Multiply was a lot more popular. MySpace they also used, but like people gravitated more towards Friendster, and then Facebook came along.
Damn, dude.
And then everybody like hopped on the whole Facebook thing, and and then Twitter, and then like Instagram, and then everything just started showing up, and they all started adapting to it. Because like what I've observed living in, like having lived in the Philippines, growing up there, and like living here for like literally both halves of my life. The first half of my life, up until I was 15, I lived in the Philippines, and I've noticed the Philippines, like as soon as like new technology starts happening in the country, becomes available in the country, we fucking grasp at it. When the first Nokia phones and like texting became a thing, nobody called. It was just texting. Like literally commercials for like these new phones and for like new SIM cards and like the prepaid SIM cards and all that were always like like there was a commercial, and like literally these two really hot women were like, text me too, like literally they were just like, use our texting service, like pay this much money, it's going to be a lot cheaper for you in the long run, but we're going to get money. And then like these like and like the Nokia phones started all coming out, and so I'm sitting here like thinking, oh shit, like the Philippines, a third world country, is adopting this like really, really nice, like, this new technology, like really new designs, and they're, Nokia's just fucking going crazy with all these designs. We're all getting it somehow.
Mhm.
And then I moved to the United States for the other half of my life, essentially. And I'm just like, what the fuck are these phones?
Yeah.
Like the United States is so slow to adapting its own technology. I mean, technology that was supposed to be made for a market as rich as the United States. Like obviously Samsung made the technology, Motorola made the technology. Like they are not American companies. Am I lagging?
Yeah.
Okay, whatever. It's
Okay.
probably my camera.
Probably Droid Cam.
But yeah, like, it's like, why aren't you adapting this technology that's supposed to be made for a market as rich as you are?
Oh, I think one of the things I think it's
Like
both.
fucking people from third world countries have better phones than you.
I don't know, what did you mean by the phones? Like better phones, like
Like the Nokia phones, like not like I was like talking because when I was when we were talking to Camilo yesterday, and I was talking about all these like Nokia phone models that existed and was still in production
While I moved here, like people were like, "Is that a phone?"
Like people didn't know that phone existed. It looked way cooler than your basic ass flip phone. It looked cooler than it looked cooler and more compact than what was the cool phone back then. The Sidekick.
I almost feel like
The Sidekick is a bulky piece of shit.
I
Y'all
almost feel
thought that was cool. I thought that was crap.
I thought it was cool.
Compared
Does
to
it-
like the
does it
stuff
look like
Nokia was putting out.
I've never.
Bitch,
That's the
please.
thing. I didn't see any of the Nokia stuff. So
Exactly.
I have
I'm
no,
like,
like-
why isn't this cool shit here?
I almost feel
And
like
then I realized, like, and then I go to McDonald's here. I'm like, oh, an American company doesn't even serve the good shit in its own country.
well, maybe it's not the quote unquote good shit, because it's like I almost feel like they're always trying to look for something, a shiny new object. Because I think just on speculation. Like they might have hit the, like it say like the niche with you, like, oh, they found the sweet spot, they really like this, we're gonna go all in, you know. Or there's several speculations because there's so much context. I don't know. I didn't grow up there, but I know here, 'cause I always saw like
that too. Like the Philippines they knew that the Philippines was so quick to adapt to these things.
so like
yeah,
because I think it was just like one, just from me growing up here, just seeing phones, I was like, either how does it make it seem like it's cooler, which is like the Sidekick was such a huge thing, because it was like,
it's because of the full keyboard. Like I can text faster. I'm like, yeah, but it's
the keyboard. Well, it just looks just that I just love that just like how it opened. But also like people were either like going to like, they're kind of trying to make phones for different markets. I almost feel like, because the BlackBerry was like the business phone, and then there's flip phones. You know, the Motorola Razr is trying to make it like super sleek and whatnot.
We thought that was pretty.
I thought it was cool. So, but yeah,
Nokia came out with this phone that was like about this length when folded, and like it folded like it's like this long in total, but it's like a lot slimmer. But like the top screen, like the screen half, you can twist it and then bend it like this. Like you remember camcorders?
Yeah.
So it's like that. So there's the camera's on the side, so you can literally hold it like a fucking camcorder.
It was actually on a Black Eyed Peas music video.
Wow.
Phone was. Here's the thing. I assumed that was here because I saw it on a Black Eyed Peas music video.
I would have loved that. Me doing like loving film growing up. I would have loved to have. I wouldn't have had to take my fucking DV camera.
My selfie
everywhere.
game was on point. That was my mom's phone, but I was like, my selfie game was on point because I could just like turn the camera on me. I'm like, okay, cool.
Yeah. Oh god. The quality of the photos.
And the thing is, you know, like I mean, the camera quality back then was like terrible for like. Was video a thing back then? Yeah, video was a thing back then, but like
you get like friggin'.
Oh my god, I have a ladybug in my room. Hello.
You'd get like 180p quality video.
10p.
10p.
But yeah, like I mean, you know, that's what we had back then. It was great, and like I was like, I took a picture with my mom's phone, and I was like, oh, I want to put it on my Friendster profile because before it was like a picture of like Avril Lavigne. As my profile picture because I didn't know pictures like that I can upload directly from my computer. And my mom was like, and I was like, oh, how do I get this there? And my mom's like, oh, I can email from here. So she emailed it to my email address. I went on the internet on the computer, downloaded that attachment. That took forever, and then I uploaded it. That also took forever.
Out of 56K modem.
Yeah, and it was like I was like, you know, and I was sitting there like it was like this whole new thing. Now you can just literally do everything from here.
Yeah.
I can take this video from here and then post it immediately.
Yeah. And that's like
I can go live from here if I wanted to, but I won't because I hate myself.
It's like literally like a double-edged sword. This like
a little bit of everything all of the time.
Yeah. Because it's like one, like if you want to start a YouTube or a podcast, you can literally there's an app for that because it's called Anchor. Just record it and just upload it.
And then it distributes it for you.
And then two, if you want to do video, just pop it up. You don't need the fancy technology anymore. Film it. Just prop your phone up on a selfie stick or whatever. Just film. Put it
or
up
a
there.
Bottle of something.
Whatever. Yeah. And
film. Stabilizer. Yeah.
You don't like it, albeit like there's a lot more to it in terms of improving your production quality, but the cost of entry is so low.
You like, just need a phone that you already have.
Yeah, you don't need.
Antonio Garza, I don't know what the fuck. Well, I don't know what's going on with him, but he was like in like the beauty YouTube space for a while, and like literally he was still using his yellow ass lamp to light himself while he's doing makeup.
Oh wow!
For a long time, and he had quite a number of subs, but like, you know, not James Charles level subs, but at the, like, you know, at the time they weren't like at equal footing at the time, but like they kind of started at the same time ish. But I think a friend of mine, because I was like sitting here when I was still filming like my videos like with my yellow lamp, this lamp, but like with a yellow light, and you know, it was like yellow as hell. I don't know how to color correct or color grade, so I just uploaded them, you know, as time lapses and whatever. And then I was like, oh, I need a new light, I need this. And then my friend goes, hey, you know Antonio Garza, right? I was like, yeah, motherfucker just uses a yellow light. And look at him. I was like, that's true.
Yeah, it's back then you would need to get a huge ass camera. Then somehow you would have to use something called a Firewire to upload it to your computer. It was literally the way it is, you would connect it to your Adobe Premiere. You would play it live from your camera to your computer and just wait until it's done. And it's like literally pressing record onto the computer, and then you're done. And then that like in high school, I was like, I want like one. I wanted one of these like bigger cameras with the handles, so I can one film skate videos, and two, like I just wanted like I wanted to like when me dreaming about my computer, I was like it has to have a
people
FireWire.
Buy those camcorders, those
The
Sony
old school
camcorders.
ones?
Yeah, well, not old school ones, but like they come out with new models each time. Like some of them film in 4K.
Oh yeah, I bet.
Sony camcorders. People still buy those because like they're just like, well, it's compact. It's user friendly. Like not everybody wants to like lug around a mirrorless or a GoPro or a DSLR all the time. Especially a DSLR, that shit heavy.
I mean, with the benefit with now, like, it was like I'm pretty sure they can probably just use an SD card instead of using a FireWire, and you're not using DV tapes.
Oh, God, those tapes. We still have like a really old camcorder.
I wish I still had it.
But like it's broken. Like I don't know. Like we were trying to get the footage from there because I was the one holding the camcorder every time my family and I went on vacations. I was feeling the fantasy. I was like, well, I was shooting from down here, and like I had the little screen tilted up here. I was like, oh yes, filmmaker.
Yeah, dude, I was like that all the time. Like me and my friends, whenever we'd skate anywhere or any competitions, I would be filming all the competition routines. I'd be like doing behind the scenes stuff. I would like in my high school, like at the end of every year, we had the banquet. I would put together the banquet videos and everything.
Bitch, I was editing in real time. I was like I would like press record. I'd tell my brother to do something. And
oh my God!
I'll pause it and then tell him to go away. And I'm like, where'd he go?
You were doing TikToks before.
Bitch, I was doing TikTok before TikToks because that only lasted like 10 seconds. I was doing longer vines. Like I could have shaved off 4 seconds and that would have been a vine. He's innovative. So that's why when Vine came out, I was like, I was doing that as a teenager.
Now it's like, now everyone's doing these crazy techniques. One of the or crazy like whip pans or like it's great. People were getting really creative and just like real time editing. But so that is it, everyone. I appreciate you guys watching. Q on Twitch. I appreciate you. I appreciate all the questions you threw at us, and I hope the things we shared was super helpful in your journey in becoming a filmmaker. And those of you guys listening and watching on Spotify or on YouTube or on Apple Podcasts and whatnot, if you guys like this, make sure you hit like, subscribe, leave us a review on Apple Podcasts if you guys like it. And if I almost feel like I should leave like a survey thing, like if a Q&A thing, a dedicated Q&A thing, hosted by Q, inspired by the great Q. We should start a Q&A. But okay, but
we might lose an audience number.
I know. With that, I appreciate you guys for watching, and if anything, have an amazing night, day, evening, week, month, rest of the year, decade, and life. We'll see you guys in the next episode of Awkward Tea Party. We'll see you guys in the next one. Take care. Bye.
Bye.
Beep, 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 beep.
That's miniature right there.